I'm Alex. I'm with Cloze. Thanks for joining our EXP CRM of Choice session today. I'm going to start off with some slides and I'm going to go to live demo, give you a full tour of what Cloze is all about. We also have our team available on YouTube to answer questions and EXP World. So ask as many questions as you'd like. But again, I'm going to go through some slides here, give you a full overview, ask those questions. We have classes every Monday and Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern time. So feel free to join those. We're continuing to do those all the way through September. So you'll have more opportunities to join different sessions. We'll have some other classes coming up here at the end of the month in early September to cover our Canva integration. So we're very excited to get that out to you as well. Our marketing team is almost ready to approve all their new templates that work with Cloze. So that's very close, but I will give you a demo of that. I know a lot of people are excited to get started with that. So if you're not familiar with Cloze, we are a AI-powered sales and marketing platform. We're the brand standard for brands like Windermere, Baird & Warner, Sotheby's International Realty, and a number of other brands where sphere selling is really at the core of what they do. That's how their agents get the bulk of their business, from repeat sales and referrals. They built out a very strong business around that. The other platforms offered through the CRM of Choice program are great for lead gen, and we're great at that too. But when it comes to sphere selling, nothing is like Cloze. That's what I'm going to tell you about today. So before I get into that, what I want to do is go through a little bit of research we did that I think is pretty fascinating. A couple of slides here, I promise. Now, as we did some analysis, one of the things we noticed as agents switch into Cloze, we see contacts come in, and contacts can be in a lot of different places, right? They can be on our phone, they can be in a spreadsheet, they can be an import from another CRM, a lot of different places where our contacts live. But what we found as we did our analysis is that the vast majority of the people you speak to every single day never make it onto that spreadsheet or into the CRM. In fact, what we saw is 88% of those people never make it into your database. Pretty fascinating. If you're doing sphere selling, it gets pretty hard to get your arms around your entire sphere if most of the people are never in your database. And so that's what we're really good at with Cloze. If you think about traditional CRM is kind of like an empty box, and you've got to put everything in there by hand. So first name, last name, email address. Every time you meet somebody new, you got to log it. It just becomes a lot of work. And so when you have all that extra work, you just don't put those people in. And that's why we see this big discrepancy between who you're actually interacting with. You're part of the fabric of the community. You're going to all kinds of different events. It could be the sideline of your kid's baseball game, hockey game. It could be something you're volunteering for, a community event, chamber, whatever it might be. You're at all these events, but you're not necessarily capturing all of that in your CRM. And that's where a lot of business can come from. You have to do a lot of work manually. You just don't do it. Now with Cloze, we're the opposite of that. We're going to help you automatically track all the people in your sphere and discover all of your connections automatically. What Cloze is very good at is seeing what we call electronic breadcrumbs that are just out there with your relationships. It could be you're CC'd on a mailing list for your kid's hockey game or baseball game. Could be something from the Chamber of Commerce, whatever it might be. There's all these people that you're intersecting with that Cloze can track automatically. Cloze uses your full history of communications as far back in time to discover all these connections and map out your relationships over time. So if you've got 30 years worth of email in your email account, you connect that to Cloze. Cloze is going to traverse all 30 years worth of email. Now, it might be a lot, but if you think about real estate, you help somebody buy or sell a home 10 years ago, they're probably going to be starting to get back in the market around now. So you actually do need to stay in flow with them. And that's what Cloze is really, really good at. Instead of having to manually set reminders and all that kind of thing, Cloze is doing all that for you automatically. So let's have a look. Key thing you're going to notice when you sign up for Cloze is that we're going to have you connect all the places you communicate with your clients. We'll walk you through it. It's very easy. You'll connect your email account. So you can connect your Gmail, your Google account, and all the things associated with that. Your Microsoft account. So if you're using Microsoft Outlook 365, connect that. But you can also connect any other email account you use for business. So it could be you use a Yahoo account for years or an AOL account for years or whatever you got. Wherever those relationships exist, connect it. It's helpful because it will inform our artificial intelligence, and that will help you over time. So connect the accounts you use for business, connect to the places where your sphere exists, and that will help Cloze really understand all of your relationships back in time and going into the future. This is continuous. It always updates all day long. One of the things that's super unique about Cloze is that you can connect your iPhone or Android phone. And what I mean by that is when you connect it, there's some things that we can do for you that are very unique. One of those things is our ability to automatically track calls and texts using your real phone number. So you don't have to change your phone number. You don't have to get a new number. I know a lot of different platforms do that. You want your calls tracked, get this new phone number. With Cloze, don't have to do that. You simply connect your phone to Cloze and we'll track it for you automatically. Same thing on Android. What that means is all your email, all your calls, all your texts, all that communication with your clients gets tracked automatically for you without you having to do any work at all. Big time savings. So we talked about the empty box for the other systems. When you come into Cloze for the first time, you're going to find all the people you know in all your communications as far back in time as we can go attached to them. So it allows you to do a lot of unique things. And our artificial intelligence sits on top of that. So it allows us to act more like a personal assistant that's working alongside you. And I'll go into that in a moment here. You can also connect lots of other apps and services. We're a very open platform. We're always adding more. So there's hundreds of other services you can connect to Cloze. We'll talk about some key ones here today, but there's others you can connect. So in the EXP family, Canva, that's a big one. I'll give you a demo of that, and I'm going to show you how that works. We will have a dedicated session just on Canva coming up, just getting the final things ready from your marketing team, and then we'll get going with that. But you can also connect Zenlist. Zenlist is an amazing tool. Works really well with Cloze. You can connect Zenlist. All that activity that your clients are doing on Zenlist will sync into Cloze. You'll see that right away. Makes it very actionable. And the nice thing about using Zenlist is that you're keeping them away from other platforms, right? They're not drifting off. They're staying in your sphere, so to speak. And then you can also connect SkySlope. Nice thing about SkySlope is when you connect it, it's going to bring in all of your historical transactions, the people on your side. So all those clients you've worked with in the past, they're going to come in and we're going to even organize them automatically for you and set anniversary dates. And so connect SkySlope, highly recommend it. So some really good integrations for you that really round out the solution. But as you go, again, ask questions. We got lots of help in our help center and things like that if you want to dig into any of those integrations. Now, of course, you're probably asking, all right, well, you can connect my phone. That sounds cool, but who can see that information? Well, the answer is nobody. This is your content, not ours. In fact, even our own team can't see it. So nobody at Cloze can see your content. They can't see your text messages. They can't read your emails or anything like that. Makes our job a little harder in support. So if you reach out, they may ask you for screenshots and things like that because they can't see what you can see. And that's a good thing. Same thing goes for EXP. There is no super admin or any ability for them to see your information. It is completely walled off. It is only for you. And frankly, that's a good thing, right? That's how we use it too internally here at Cloze. We've used it for a very long time since the beginning. We don't want anybody seeing our messages either. I've got my phone connected and I don't want anybody on my team seeing my messages, so completely get it. We also operate outside the United States. So we fall under a lot of more strict rules and laws that explicitly protect information. So outside the United States, for example, in Europe, there are very strict data protection and privacy laws that we have to follow. In fact, if you have EU citizen clients in your database, you need to follow those laws too. They're very far reaching. And we have tools for that. If you need assistance on that, we can walk you through it. But big picture, you'll see that in our privacy policy and you'll see that in how the app works. Even if you join a team on Cloze, you start using our team functionality, everything stays private until you explicitly say, yep, I want to share something. So you can keep that off. You got an assistant. We have all kinds of ways to fine tune how they have access to your account. So you can control what they can see. Even if they're in your account doing work, you can still keep things like text messages and emails private and out of their eyes. So a lot of controls there. That's the big picture. It's completely private, exclusive to you. But if you've got questions, ask us. Now, another question always comes up is, I'm investing in this platform. What if I want to get my data out? Or what if I want to change teams in EXP? Or maybe I want to leave EXP. Nobody likes to talk about that. But if you're investing in a platform, you want to know, well, can I get my data, right? The answer is absolutely. Your account is completely portable. And what makes Cloze unique, and that fits into the privacy model, is that every single agent has their own unique database. A lot of CRMs out there and a lot of platforms out there in the real estate space, it's one big database and everything gets commingled together, kind of a jargony word there. But what that means is that the data is hard to get out, and it's not that easy for an agent to say, I want to go somewhere else. So from a portability perspective, we have lots of agents that can sign up on their own directly, and that portability gives you that capability. So you can take your account, unplug, and go wherever you want to go. It's your data, not ours. I will also say, if you want to delete your account, it's not for you. You delete it, it's gone, not recoverable. That's called the right to be forgotten in places like California and Europe and a lot of other states, Virginia, things like that have laws around that. So key message here is a ton of automation that can help you. If you followed any of the all the AI trends over the last couple of years, what powers AI is lots of information. So all this information coming through your Cloze account allows our AI to do a lot of interesting things for you, has a lot of advantages, and can help you quite a bit. On the flip side, you need to also understand privacy and portability, and we have all of that. So that's the big picture message. You can ease into this too. So connect as little or as much as you'd like. So if you don't want to connect your phone right away, that's fine. You can connect it later. The more you add, the more informed it is. Also know that when you do connect things, you've got controls like family and friends. You can say, don't bring in my calls and texts for family and friends. It's tricky in real estate. Obviously, if you're selling it, there are probably some clients in there, but a lot of controls for you, and makes it very easy. So let's look at how some of this information is used to help you out. So imagine you get a referral. A client of yours says, hey, I've got a great agent. They refer you over. You get an email, comes into your inbox. Well, what Cloze is doing behind the scenes is creating a timeline and creating a contact for you automatically. So you don't even have to create a contact in Cloze. You meet somebody new, just purely by getting the email, starting to communicate with them, that contact will get created. So no manual cutting and pasting. Now, in this case, the person also said, hey, give me a call Saturday morning. Great. Cloze caught that and is now going to remind you on Saturday morning to call that person back. So Cloze will analyze the content of emails and look for things you might need to get done, or even things you promised to get done. Or maybe if you didn't reply, Cloze will catch that and remind you. So there's very specific things that it can do to help you just stay on top of it all. Our inboxes get overwhelmed. It's easy to miss stuff. Cloze will catch those kind of things. Again, acting as that personal assistant. In this example, there was also new information that wasn't already in Cloze. So what Cloze will do is automatically take that phone number, that email address, whatever it finds, grab it and put it into the record for that particular person. So in this case, Julie here is going to get their contact inside of Cloze updated. Makes it really easy, right? Because so now I've got a contact already created in my CRM in Cloze. All the information was updated, and it's already tracking the timeline of all my activities. So all you have to do is say, is this a warm lead? So is it on my warm list? Is it a hot list? Is it buyer? Is it a seller? That kind of stuff. So really simple. It takes all the traditional busy work off your plate, and you just focus on what you do best. Now, what it will also do, and you'll see this as soon as you get your account set up, is it's going to analyze and understand as far back in time all the people you know. It will analyze the communication history and understand your patterns and just mine that information for you. And if you get out of touch with people that are important to you, it's going to nudge you to reach out again. So it's not going to nudge you on everybody, but people that are very important, it's going to start reminding you automatically. So without you having to do anything, it's just going to remind you to reach out. Now, what's nice about this is time flies by. It's easy to forget. When was the last time I talked to a lead, somebody I'm working with, a client that I worked with 5 years ago, whatever it might be? It's helping you stay in flow with them, making sure you're top of mind. And so there's always this rhythm of communication we need in real estate. That's a combination of the automated type emails alongside of the one-to-one. The one-to-one is where you build strong relationships with a core sphere of people. You can't do it with everybody, obviously, but a core group, and that core group is going to give you those referrals that power your business. So if you stay in flow, it makes a huge difference. Another important thing to note about this is that because it's automatically tracking your calls, your texts, your emails, all that information that's flowing through, it's only going to remind you if you're not in touch with somebody. So you'll only see people that have slipped through, and you need that nudge to say, oh yeah, I need to get back to that person. Another thing you're going to see when you get going is that you're going to see some automatic goal tracking at the top of what we call the agenda. That's the agenda there that I've been showing. I'll give you a demo of that in a second. You can kind of think of this section as like the Apple Health app. So the Apple Health app, if you ever used it, it's on your watch. Google's got equivalent style app, and it just starts working. It starts tracking your movement. So how many steps, how many stairs, are you an elite athlete, or are you sitting behind a desk? It really understands who you are from a movement perspective very quickly. Cloze does the exact same thing, but we're doing it for relationship information. So it understands how often you're communicating, who you're communicating to, are you getting reactions back? And when you connect your SkySlope account, it's going to understand how many sides you've done, what your GCI is. So it gets a good picture automatically without you having to set this up. We've seen a lot of goal tracking solutions in real estate. All of them require you to do a lot of work. We're just doing this automatically. So just like you close the rings on your health watch, you're going to close your rings in Cloze. It's a weekly set of goals, so we're not trying to overpressure here, but it's based on your real information. So it'll tell you if you're off pace and you do a few more today. You can see that on the screen a little bit, but it's not going to be overwhelming. It just gives you an idea of where you are to keep you on track. So Apple Health app, you'd say, oh, I need to do a few more steps or go up a few more flights of stairs to stay on track. It's doing the same thing with your outreach. We've done a lot of studies and a lot of analysis on that and can talk endlessly about it. But the key thing is, if you do this kind of outreach, it will make a big difference in your business. So a combination of things just keeping you on pace. The nice thing about it is you don't have to do anything to set it up. Another thing we'll do is we'll remind you about key dates. Any kind of celebration, that kind of thing, purchase anniversary, sale anniversary, birthday, could be a real estate review if you do those. Great way to engage, good excuse to reach out, offer something in return, that kind of thing. So real estate reviews are really handy for sitting down once a year and talking to your clients. They're very popular in the sphere selling community. If you connect your SkySlope account, we're going to bring in those dates automatically, your purchase anniversary, your sale anniversary, so you don't even have to set it. In fact, we're going to even organize those contacts for you automatically as closed buyers and sellers, though it is a nice one to connect. But those key dates will pop up on the agenda as they occur, and you can reach out. Super simple. Okay, so what's included in the CRM of Choice program? I know it's called CRM of Choice, but we offer actually more functionality than just pure CRM. So a lot of functionality around that. Key thing to know is everything you can do on your computer, you can also do on your iPhone or Android phone. So I'm going to demo on my phone here. We actually started on iPhone and Android, and then we went to computer. So everything is exactly the same between the platforms. We have a lot of AI to help you write and reply. You can do things like create campaigns, bios, property descriptions, simple emails. I'll give you a taste of that today as you go through. A lot of AI, a lot of automation. On the marketing side, we're going to talk about Canva. Saves a ton of time. One of the really cool things about Canva is that you can take your listings, which are going to feed into Cloze automatically. So any listing you get, you're going to see in Cloze, and then you can send that to Canva, and you'll be able to pick a pack of templates, and all those materials get created automatically. So no dragging and dropping, no manually building out your templates. You might have to do a couple of tweaks here and there if you want to change images or something like that, but it will just autofill, as it's called, all the information. So send it over. I'll give you a demo of that. I think you're going to be really excited about it. We also have all kinds of AI writing support, as I mentioned, to create campaigns, to newsletters, to sending automated drip campaigns out. Lots of things you can do there. And then, of course, if your business is lead driven and you have a lot of leads, or even just a few leads coming in, we can capture those and make sure they get into Cloze. So it's pretty common to get email alerts from a variety of different services. We'll extract that out and just get it right into your account. And then from there, you can do automated nurture campaigns, automatic replies, things like that. Getting you out of the business of cutting and pasting and trying to get it in your CRM will take care of all of that. All right, so let's dive in here, give you a demo. Here's Cloze on my phone. I'm going to start here, and then I'll show you the desktop too, just give you a feel for both. But I like to start on my phone because if you think about in terms of routine, this is really where your day begins. And I want to make sure that it's clear that you can just do all the work from here. So if I'm going to call somebody, I'm going to be on my phone. Simple swipe, and I can be on the phone. So think of this largely as your action plan for the day. I know a lot of CRMs, you have to kind of peck and find things that you need to do. With Cloze, think of it as we're packaging it up for you every single morning. You work down your list, and then you're done. And so I want you to spend 20 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day. Maybe it's a little longer if you connect with somebody, but not a ton of time. But if you build a routine around this, it will make a measurable difference in your business. So think of it that way. Think of it as how it can help you stay organized. Instead of you creating a list, okay, I got to go through my list, sort, filter, who do I need to reach out today? Cloze is surfacing those people, the important things you need on the agenda. I'm going to skip over the goal tracking, but you can see it there at the top. But let's go down to the keep in touch section here. So I've got some people on my keep in touch list today. I got about 5 people on my list. Different cycles for different people. You can see Greg and John there. It's been 15 days, so about 2 weeks. Gina, it's been 3 months. To reach out to any of them, I just have a simple swipe. So again, because I'm on my phone, if I swipe and release on call, it's super easy for me just to tap on her phone number and then reach out. Easy. So these kind of things, if you're on your computer, you'd have to switch over and dial on your phone. So take action here. Now, similarly, if I swipe and release on email, I can send an email right from here as well. Because your email is connected, you can send and receive email from your real email account right inside of Cloze, which is really nice. So if I send this email to Gina here through Cloze, I'll see it in my sent box outside of Cloze in my Gmail account. So I use Cloze all day long to send and receive email. You can do that. If you do it when you're working off the agenda, it just saves you time from bouncing around. Now, I will say, if you just respond to an email outside of Cloze, we're still keeping track of it. So don't worry about that. What you see here is a built-in template. That's what we call it. So it's a simple checking in template. Haven't talked in a bit, thought I'd reach out. Below that is a easy to distinguish there. It's an email signature, easy to set up in your Cloze account. One of the things that will guide you to set up at the beginning is your email signature. There are some templates in there you can take advantage of, and we'll guide you through setting that up. Okay. Generally, people set up the same exact signature they use outside of Cloze, but it's very easy to set up. Built-in template, get you started. A lot of people just use this template, but we have our AI ghostwriter, as we call it. So see that light bulb in the lower right? If I tap on that, I can have Cloze rewrite this for me. So I'm going to pick, there's a whole bunch of different things you can do. You can play around this and have some fun, but I'm going to pick authenticity and it will rewrite that. So it's very quick. It's been a while since we last caught up, so I want to check in. So it's very simple. I'm going to tap on that light bulb again and say, give me a new subject. So ghostwrite a subject. There you go. Let's reconnect. I'd love to hear from you. So very simple, personable. What I'll tell you is these kind of outreach emails, they're fast, easy to do, have a far higher reaction rate, Gina getting back, the client getting back to you, than any other type of communication. We love to do the glossy automated stuff, but these types of simple emails get a very high reaction rate. And that's what you want. You're trying to engage, you're trying to keep yourself top of mind. If they see an email that looks like it's been automated and sent to a million other people, they're much less likely to actually engage with it. Okay. So lots you can do with this. We have a built-in template library. That's what that button is down the lower right. You can save templates, things like that, add your own. If you want to add other content, plus icon there, you can add all kinds of things. So for example, you can add content from Canva. You can add a BombBomb video if you're using that. Vimeo, all kinds of different things. Images, makes it very easy, all from one place. Upper right, you'll see a drop down there. Lots of other things we layer on top of your email. You can schedule email to be sent out in the future. So I could say tomorrow and 7 a.m. if I wanted to. When I push send, it'll just get scheduled for tomorrow morning. I tend to use that if I'm doing email late at night. Follow up, I can set a reminder. This one I use all the time. It's an easy thing to set. If Gina doesn't reply to me, remind me next week. So if I don't get a reply, she'll pop up on my agenda and I can reach back out to her if I want to. But if she does reply, I won't get a reminder. Very simple. That's why it's an easy one. And then probably our most popular feature for email is our email open and link click tracking. So you can see right there, that bell icon, it's on by default. It's kind of one of those addictive features because once you see an open notification, you're like, ooh, this is cool. It's helpful because you know if people are interacting with your emails, and sometimes you'll see a flurry of them and then you'll know that they're really digging into it, or maybe they forwarded it. So what we hear from a lot of agents is they start using that and that gives them a really good kind of incentive to keep using other features in there, but it is a nice one. So any emails you send through Cloze will be tracked, and they won't know. That's one key thing to know, but you'll know if they opened it or clicked on any link. It's the exact same thing that you've seen with email marketing. If you've done email marketing, they'll tell you if there's been opens and clicks. We're doing the exact same thing, but we're doing it on top of your personal email accounts, your Gmail or iCloud or whatever you got connected. Okay. So a few features in there. Key thing to know here is you're sending it through your real email. There's no difference. We are an email app, just like if you compose it on Gmail or the stock iPhone or Android app, no difference at all. But when you send it, you'll see it outside of Cloze. Recipient's not going to know you sent it through Cloze, but it's a nice way to just speed through your agenda. So the idea here is work through your list. You can also skip people. So if I don't want to talk to Greg here, I can just skip him, or I can go a little further and mute him. If I never want to hear from him again, that's fine too. Important dates, same idea here. I can swipe to call. I release on email. We have a birthday template. Same thing as before. I could use the ghostwriter, create a new subject. Nice little emoji in there. Let's celebrate. It's personalized, easy. One thing to note about birthdays and any of these anniversaries is that we can automatically send them out for you. But a lot of people like to do what I just did. They like to personalize it a little bit and then push send, or pick up the phone or text instead. So optional to you. We're just reminding you. You'll see all those reminders on your agenda in the morning, and then you can kind of work through them. We group things together so you can just take care of things quickly. So if I was working this agenda, I'd be like, I'm going to do all 3 of these in a row and be done with it. Purchase anniversary, you'll notice, same thing, different template though. It's been a year, catch up, that kind of thing. Okay. Now what this is doing is, by doing this outreach, you're taking care of the automatic goal tracking I was talking about earlier. So as my week unfolds, the goal tracking is keeping track of my communications. It's doing it for me automatically. Based on my historical information, it knows I reach out, in this case, 39 times a week. I've done 22 so far for the week. Today's Wednesday. I've got 4 more to go to stay on pace. With the pacing, what we're doing is we're understanding how you operate. So how do you as an agent work? Do you do most of your outreach on a Wednesday, or do you do it on a Tuesday, a Monday? What day of the week do you work? It will understand that. So it's not going to nudge you if you normally don't do the bulk of the work later in the week. It's also going to track who's reacting. So that kind of reinforces what you're doing, right? So I've got 16 reactions from my outreach this week. That's great. I got a little more to do. Sides, it's automatically tracking that from SkySlope. I'm on pace for the year. I got 1 more to go. It will also understand the ebbs and flows of real estate in general for you. So if you do most of your business in the spring and the fall, it's not going to overreact in the summertime or in the wintertime. So it understands the pacing. It will help you stay on pace, but you don't really have to do anything here. It's just a good thing to keep your eye on. If you want to see the statistics, you can swipe to the right, and then you can see how you're hitting your goals. And then there's all kinds of statistics here you can scan through and adjust. The goals are automatic. You can adjust them. If I swipe on change, you can adjust your goals. So I could tap on GCI, for example, and switch off automatic and change my target amount. Great. Easy to do. So you can even change what you see there, change the order. The reason we have 3 is that there's been a bunch of analysis and data, that a bunch of groups have done studies that we really can only handle 3 things at a time. And that's why you see 3 rings on the Apple app as well, right? The health app's the same way. So you're closing those rings, you're closing them here, but there's a specific reason for 3 at a time. You could track more, but it becomes overwhelming. So that's why we have 3. This is also highly correlated. So the number of outreach you do and the reactions you get back, so meaning you're targeting the right people in your sphere, results in sides. And that's why all the coaching groups out there very much focus on outreach live, because it does yield sides. There's just a lot of math towards that, and it just holds up. Leads. So I got a lead here that came in. So as I touched on earlier, one of the things that we can do for you is automatically extract the lead information out of your inbox. So from here, this lead came in earlier. Cloze recognized the lead was inbound, and one of the things it did was say, hey, you got a new lead in your inbox. leads tend to die in our inbox because we miss them. By the time we see them, it's too late. So Cloze will recognize the lead, grab the information, and alert you right away. So you'll get a push notification on your watch or your phone or wherever you're working. And then you can quickly engage with the lead. So this is a very simplified example that I'm showing you here, just to give you the basics. And this can go a lot further. We do this for all kinds of lead sources. So pretty much any service that sends us a lead, we can grab for you. You can reach out to our support team to set any of this up. support@cloze.com. They're more than happy to help. So what you've got here is a fictional lead that came inbound this morning. Alan's name, email address, and phone are in the lead. So normally you have to cut and paste all this information. With Cloze, in this example, you just tap on accept and it creates the lead. Then you can quickly get on the phone. So the first step is you get the alert, and then after that you can jump on the phone with them. This is simplified because you could fully automate this. Cloze can auto accept. It could fire an email back to them. It could start a drip campaign. One of those emails could have a booking link for your calendar in it. And then Cloze would stop the nurture campaign if they book an appointment. It can do all kinds of interesting things. On Teams, you can do routing and all the stuff you'd expect. So if you got a lot of leads, we can handle that for you. Same thing goes for just simple leads from your website. Easy to do. You're going to see meetings from your calendar in here. So I've got some meetings coming up today. If you haven't talked to the person in a while, you can simply reconfirm it. Simple swipe. Send a reconfirmation email out. Easy to do. When you're in the meeting, you can take notes. Typical stuff. At the bottom, you're going to see any finished meetings and calls you have. So one of the things I like about this is think of it as your kind of end of day wrap up, or maybe after the meeting, you want to swipe and add some notes. You can add some notes. Easy to do. Finish call. Same thing. Now here's a message that Cloze flagged. So let's take a look at that one. There it is. So I've got a reminder that's going to pop up at 6 p.m. my time. So later today, I'm going to get a message from Cloze saying, hey, you got to follow up on this message. And that's because somewhere in here, there it is. Please send anything that fits the bill this evening. So Dave here reached out and is asking for something, but he set a deadline. He's saying, can you get this to me this evening? So I've got time, but Cloze is catching it and is going to remind me so I can send him a reply. So if I missed it, I'm out all day. Cloze is still keeping an eye on my inbox for me. So you're going to see those periodically. Very helpful. Okay. All right. So let's go in and look at a few more things here. So here's a contact, very typical contact. You can see all kinds of things. I've got some notes, text messages, calls. And this goes back as far, I'm already in 2023 here, 2021. So this will just go back as far as we've got information. And you can expand these things and reply. You can do whatever you want to do, but it gives you all the details of that contact. And so that's why it's really helpful to connect your phone, because you get the text message history, you get the call history. When you connect Zenlist to Cloze, you'll see their Zenlist browsing activity. So anything they've saved or things like that, you're going to see that in the timeline. So notes, text messages to you. I can look at a different contact in a moment, show you that, but it gives you a really nice view of all that in one place. Now moving across here, I'm on the timeline. If I tap on notes, I'll see all the notes I have here. So I've got a whole bunch, I've got some background notes on her, the family. If I tap on files, this will show me all the attachments I have on email and all the files we've found related to Gina from other services that are connected to Cloze. So I've got my Google account connected. You can see I've got a folder called Gina Harris. Anything I put in there is going to match up to her automatically. So instead of uploading things to your CRM and to Cloze, we just use the existing places you're already storing things, which generally makes life a lot easier because you're not managing yet another place to store things. So that's why we take this approach. Google Drive, OneDrive, Dropbox, DocuSign, you can see here all kinds of different platforms you'll see files coming in from. Makes it easy to find things very, very quickly. If I tap on To Do, This is where I see anything that's coming up. So this could be birthdays, it could be notes I've saved, it could be weddings, wedding anniversary, real estate review, all kinds of different stuff that has any to-do I have really. And then about, this shows me a variety of different things. And you're going to see some fields that you can expand down here. I'll go through a few of those in a moment. But at the top, you can see what we call the relationship section. And this is tracking who the person is to you and where they are in their journey with you. So you can see Gina's a hot buyer. Okay. So it's very simple. If I tap on the drop down there, you can see she's in what we call the hot stage. And then below that is some check marks, and I can pick which segment, as we call them, she's in. And these are just kind of standard things: buyer, seller, renter, buyer and seller, somebody transacting both ways, but it's just a simple way to pick. Okay. We have another class. Our next class will go into organizing and things like that. So join that one to learn how to settle this up, but just gives you a top level view. We always like to think about it in terms of like what's happening now with that relationship. So if Gina could be a client I've worked with many times, but she's currently a hot buyer. So helpful to track where she is on that. You'll see at the top, it's a little small. I can show you on desktop. We also have tags, but these sections here I can expand. So I could expand, see all our contact info, collapse it back down, add a glance or simple notes that I can see. If I go into details, I can link people to her. So Monty here referred Gina. Good way to track who's giving me referrals. Her spouse is Max. So if I tap on Max, it takes me to his profile in Cloze. Also very handy. That linkage there makes a big difference because then you know who's who. Children, you can link children too. Some people like to do that, especially if they're older and they're potentially somebody else you can work with, sell to. But some people also add children for birthdays. So, just getting those reminders, popping a card in the mail, that kind of thing. Lead source, typical stuff. And then important dates I touched on earlier. So birthday, wedding anniversary, real estate review, purchase anniversary, all these kind of things are helpful to track. So it's just very simple. Just tap on it and set the date. Easy to do. Well, on the bottom, all the typical controls you'd expect. You can add a note, that kind of thing. Call, text, email, map, even log, postal mail. So all kinds of things you can do there. All right. So that's typical contact. And then along the bottom, you'll see email inbox, people. I can show you. So Rebecca here is a good example of Zenlist. So you can see all the Zenlist activity coming in for her. You can even see what items she wants to tour this property, all right here. And then you can even jump out to that. So it's a really nice integration there for Zenlist. Okay. All right. I'm going to jump over to my computer, show you that. So here's the exact same account, but I'm on my computer. So you're going to notice I have a lot more space. So we can take advantage of that space on tablet and on your computer, but it's the same functional, system, no difference at all. You get rollovers. You can still swipe. So if you're on a Windows machine, you could swipe if you'd like, but the exact same thing. If I wanted to click on the arrow here, I can see that same template we were looking at before. There's the ghostwriter we were looking at. Exact same kind of capabilities, no difference at all. Okay. Now, if I go to the people section, this is where I'm going to see all my contacts. Table view is my go-to, highly recommend it. Kind of keeps things, it gives you a nice high level view of all your contacts. I can go into somebody and see all the details. Easy to see where I'm at with all of them. These are those tags I was talking about earlier. So if I add a tag, I can keep track of things outside of that journey. So I've got a holiday card tag here, sphere of influence. He's in the chamber, my local chamber. So it's simple things I can use. So tags are really helpful to keep track of those types of things. But let's take a look at how to use those tags. You can see this column here I've configured, and this is all customizable. You can customize what you want to see for the different columns, but I've got tags here. You can see a number of people have the holiday card tag. So let's have a look at that. So I'm going to put in the hashtag symbol for tag. and then I'm going to pick holiday card. You could also type it. So now all the people in this view are people that have the holiday card tag. If I tap on this check mark here, I've selected all 101 people that have that tag. Now, one of the reasons you use the CRM is to be able to take action. So I'm going to click on this big check mark over here, and then I'm going to select mail merge to. And what you'll notice right here is that it's flipping through names. It's flipping through those names to give you a little clue that each person, all 101 people, are going to receive their own unique copy of an email when I push send. So it's not a BCC. This is like sending 101 emails as if you type them up. So it's a nice way to reach out to a lot of people, scale up, but still keep it very authentic, because this is being sent through your real email. So it's being sent through your Gmail, your iCloud, your AOL, whatever you got, it's being sent through that. So let's write an email with our ghostwriter. So remember that light bulb. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to say other topic. And I'm going to say, wish a client a happy summer. You could do Labor Day or whatever you want, but I'm going to say happy summer. And these are some options here. Authentic. There's different tones. You can have fun with that. All kinds of things. Additional context. You can even add your own bio into Cloze, which can be pretty helpful. Keep it short, generate a subject, start writing. So there, it just wrote me a very quick email. Looks good to me. So I'm going to say use content. So now that content is in there. So now I'm done pretty much. I could just hit send. And if I hit send, 101 emails are going to fire out of my account. I'm going to see them outside. So a really cool way of reaching out to a lot of people at once. As I mentioned earlier, this type of email versus a glossy, fancy looking email gets about a 200x better reply rate than the fancy looking emails. We've studied this a bunch. So it's kind of crazy how much better these types of emails are. They're a lot simpler to send. You're sending them through your real email. They think you typed it up just to them. Makes life very easy. Same controls as before. So you could insert, an image, a video, whatever you want over here. Upper right, there's that drop down again. So you could schedule this. So I could have it go out tomorrow morning, that kind of thing. All the different things you'd expect. But I'll show you a cool feature here. If I click on add recipients, you're going to see some options. I'm going to select spouse and then add to. So now you're going to see people go through that are going to have two names. There you just saw Holly and John, Jack and Julia. I'm going to find Gina here and Max. Remember how Gina and Max were linked together when I showed you Gina's profile? So let's select Gina and Max. You can see here, Gina and Max are in the to line. They're going to see each other because they're in the to line, but they're the only two. And you can see I was personalized to hi, Gina and Max. So now we've taken it to the next level because I linked my contacts. Now I'm sending out a personal email to both people, both partners, both spouse right there. Pretty cool. I could even customize it just for them to say, how's the new puppy? So now they're the only ones who are going to get that email. That's pretty cool. So everybody else is getting the other email, the standard one, but then when it comes to Gina and Max, they're going to get the other one. So a really good way to scale your outreach, good example of why you organize, but you could also export. You could log postal mail. You could export it to a spreadsheet. You could create Avery labels. There's all kinds of other things, but this is why you organize. When we talk about organization, we're really talking about 200 contacts, top sphere people. Start with them, and then you can evolve over time, but that's the core. Okay, so let's go down a little further. So property section, we're going to bring in all of your listings automatically from eXp. So you don't have to do any work there. They're just going to come in automatically. So you're going to see them here. So imagine you got a listing that came in. I'm going to pick this one, 1044 West Hill, Bear Island. So imagine that comes in automatically. You can see it here. And it's going to have all the typical stuff. It's going to have beds, baths, square feet, features, all the photos. You can see here some photos. This property, very nice looking, modern. And it's going to have a description, all the details. So great. That's all in there. Now, if I click on the more options icon here in the upper right, you're going to see an option, send to Canva. This is not yet ready for you, but I'm giving you a preview now. Should be ready in the next week. Your marketing team is just doing the final touches on the templates. But if I click send to Canva, you'll get the idea of how this works. So now what's bringing up here are template packs. I'm going to pick EXP listing. You're going to have a very similar looking one, and that includes 9 different templates. So I've got my property, 1044 West Hill, the agent. That's not really me. That's a fake person, but Alex Agent. And then all the different templates it's going to create. So it's going to create a flyer, a story, a number of different stories, Facebook ads, and even a website, all that kind of stuff in different formats. And then when I click create, what's going to happen is it's going to create these 9 designs over in Canva. So I don't have to do anything at this point. It's just going to pop me over there in a second. And what you're going to find is the pictures have moved over, the description, the price, all the beds, baths, your information about you, all that's going to pop over here in a second. Canva's being slow. So what this does is it saves you all that drag and drop you normally have to do because all the information is just there. You might do a little touch up, but it's just going to bring all that information right over into your Canva account. And then yes. Okay, so now we just created all that material, and you can see it just created all these different things for me. So if I click on this just listed, I can see it created my little video here. Pretty cool. So if I go, I can select, so that's a little story. Here's a website it created. So it filled in all that information for me without me having to do anything at all. Let's find that Facebook ads, a good example. Here's an Instagram one. So you can even, it'll do full animations for you too, which I love. So you can post these right to social really without having to do anything. So you're going to have these available very shortly, and then you can start using this feature. Okay. So we'll do a dedicated class on this one. I think you're going to really enjoy it quite a bit. All right. So next thing, I'm going to go down to the library. Here's a quick thing you can do with our AI, our ghostwriter. You can create drip campaigns. You can create newsletters. So let's do one together, and then I'll wrap up with a few more slides. So I'm in the library here. I'm going to tap on the plus, and I'm going to select ghostwriter. I'm going to say drip campaign. You can type in anything you want. So just like before, when I typed in wish a client happy summer, you can pick whatever you want. I'm going to do a quick one here. Educate home sellers how to increase the value of their home. You can modify it, type whatever you want. And then the type of content you're creating, you can select. So I'm going to say newsletters with articles, but there's other styles here. What preference? So do I want kind of something new, more recent, or best match I can find? New is recent is very helpful for like current events. If you wanted to talk about like the upcoming NFL season or college football season or something like that, you'd want recent because you want to talk about here and now versus something in the past. Number of drips, 4, I'm just going to say, but you can pick any number you want. We're going to wait a month between. So that's how long it's going to wait before it sends it. And then you can pick some other things, the tone, you can pick authentic or whatever you like. And then you can also add additional context. So just like we talked about the bio, that kind of thing, you can include that. Keep it simple. I'm just going to have it start writing. So what it's doing is creating the 4 newsletters for me here. So if I like that outline, great. And now it's going to go find the articles, find some imagery, and then create a summary for each one at the top. I'm going to hit create. And then you can see what it did here is it just created all my newsletters. I can set this up to get it going, but I don't have to do anything. It already created the 4 emails for me. It's waiting a month. It is ready to go. So that's pretty cool. You might want to look at the templates, see if you're happy with all of them, but very, very fast. So a good way of using AI to just help you create content in a very, very effective way. Okay, so I know we got about 10 minutes left. If you have questions, throw them in the YouTube chat or EXP world chat, and our team will answer them. If there's anything I need to answer live, just let me know. So one thing I want to point out here as we wrap up is within Cloze, you can work as a team too. So I was going through a lot of individual features, but you can create a team in Cloze. We like to get you set up individually and then get you set up on a team. The ability to share content with your team members can save a ton of time. You've got a lot of controls around it, but imagine if you're the team lead and you want to see what your other people on your team are doing with a specific lead you assigned. The automatic tracking of calls and texts and emails and all of that makes life easy. So you can see one shared timeline. Everybody on the team has control over what they share. And so you tend to ease into that. Some people like to say, just share everything. I'm cool with it. Other people like to ease into that and say, I'll share that I've texted the person, I've called them, I've emailed them, but I don't want anybody on my team seeing the details. So we've got a lot of controls there. You can fine tune that over time. We have AI summaries that will summarize what's been happening. So if you're the manager and you want to quickly catch up, you can just read the summary. It's easy to do. And then another important thing to mention here is that I know I've touched on it a few times here, but if you're emailing outside of Cloze or you're calling outside of Cloze or doing all those activities outside of Cloze, we're still keeping track. So if you're trying to get it caught up quickly, and we use this internally, it's super helpful. So if somebody's working with a client, I want to catch up on something, I can just look at the timeline and I can see across the team who has said what. I don't have to nag anybody on Slack or anything like that. If you have multiple people calling off of lists, we have collision avoidance built in. So you can see somebody else, you'll see their initials there. So you know not just to skip over that one and call a different person. So if you're working hard down a list, you can do that. You can also set shifts. So think about a lead. You got a team, you got a lead that jump ball, or you want to do automatic assignment. You as an agent on that team can say, okay, I'm available till 6 p.m. to receive leads, or I'm available till 2 p.m. or whatever it is. And then the rules will automatically assign based on who's available. And so first person on duty, will get the lead kind of thing. And then we've got all kinds of analytics so you can see how your team is doing, how you can match up and that kind of stuff. Touched on this before, but again, when it comes to capturing leads, the message here is doesn't matter what website you have, you can use any website you want. All these lead sources and many, many more we can capture. We do this in all kinds of languages. In fact, we can even capture what language it is and even respond back in the correct language. So if you're working in multiple languages, we can handle all that. Our templates can handle multiple languages. You can do this yourself. Our team can help you. So this is an example of how you do it. So you're basically bringing up an email example, and then you're telling it what information you want to capture. Looks a little techie. So if you're techie, great. If you need assistance, our team can help. If you are setting up a team and you want to do a more advanced lead routing to members of your team, we can cover all the typical things you have and more. This is an area where you might want to ask us ahead of time, like what you're trying to do. We have examples in our help center of how you can set this up. But if you've got specific things you're trying to do to mimic things you've done in the past that you found successful, reach out. Happy to give you guidance there. Here's an example of a jump ball. So when something goes out to the group, you'll get a push notification. You can also get alerted by text and things like that. And then simple tap to accept, and then create the lead and jump on the phone. So easy to do. It's all driven through the agenda as we saw earlier, and then you can swipe to reach out. We get a lot of questions about connecting the website. So we do have specific providers where we're integrated, and you can connect those directly. But the point of what I just walked through is it doesn't matter what website you have, we can still get the leads in the Cloze so you can ensure you're following up. So keep whatever website you have, and we'll get the leads in. We're adding new website providers all the time. We have a few more that will come out here shortly that you can connect. So lots of options there for you as well. Now, common question here, what's included? So if you've been on our website, it's the Cloze Business Platinum. That's the plan. It's our top plan there. Team support's included, no extra charge or anything. Same thing with all the lead stuff. I touched on this very briefly. If you're working in multiple languages, you can do so for all the marketing templates you create. Canva Enterprise integration, that's all included. And then hundreds of other integrations. Those are all part of what you have access to. So it's quite a lot. When it comes to the specific solutions offered by EXP, Canva, SkySlope, Slack.loop, Zenlist, all integrated deeply, and a few extra things that are very specific to EXP, like your listings, those will come in. That's going to be tied and useful for Canva. And then the dial safe, do not contacts are in there as well. Lots and lots of different things here. This list is changing all the time as we add new things. But if you've got something you'd love to see, let us know, because chances are we're working on it, or we can work on it. Okay. The only thing I would note here is if you don't see something inside of Cloze, it's because that somebody else did the development of that integration and you go to their platform. So Zenlist would be an example. You go to Zenlist to connect to Cloze. Now, one thing I want to make sure you're aware of is that if you're migrating from another CRM, we make this very easy. When you sign up and you go through our flow, you're going to see this section here on the left, this getting started section. First one on the list is import your contacts. We're going to take care of importing contacts from Gmail, 365, those types of email accounts when you connect them. That'll happen automatically, so you don't have to worry about that. But if you have a file from your other CRM, you've exported it out, one of the options you're going to see here is let us help you do it. So we can import your file for you. So you can send your spreadsheets to us, send it to our support team. If you click on let us import your file, it's going to bring up an email already pre-written to our support team that you can send off that email. Okay. We'll ask you a few questions probably, but we will take care of the migration of your data for you. We make that part very easy. So export your file out of your other CRM, or if you've got a spreadsheet or whatever you got, feel free to send it to us and we'll help you. Speaking of help, if you go to help.cloze.com, you can chat with us. We're there to assist. There's also lots of answers to common questions. You can search, there's videos, there's all kinds of content there. If you got a question you want to email us support@cloze.com. We're there 7 days a week. Happy to answer questions for you. If you want more training than the 3 classes we've been doing, you can go to Cloze University, which is learn.cloze.com. These are all self-paced, so you can enroll. You can do a little bit at a time, whenever you got time. But it's a good way to, get some time with Cloze in your own personal schedule, so you don't have to show up at a specific time, and you can start and stop and pause and go at whatever pace you want. So it can be very helpful for finding specific things. It's also broken down so you can jump to different chapters and stuff like that. So it's very, very easy to follow. And you will see, as I just showed you, that we've got built-in assistance inside the app. So we're going to guide you through some steps to really give you a really good foundation for your account. So follow those steps, you'll be in good shape. So our next class is on Monday. We do 3 classes rotating here, but then we'll add one for Canva shortly. The next class we'll talk about getting started. So we're going to talk about organizing your sphere, some of the key things you need to do to give you that really good foundation. And then we'll get into the next class after that. It's all about a daily routine and how you can use it on a daily basis. Sign-up's been open since July 1, so you can sign up anytime. Again, if you got questions, reach out to our team every Monday and Wednesday, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and join a class all the way through mid-September. And then again, export those contacts and send them to us. We're more than happy to help you get that list into Cloze. All right. Any questions out there from EXP World or YouTube that I should answer? All right, I think we're good. Well, thank you all very much.